you can trade it all in for what's in this box.
The box! The box!
You know, games these days aren't what they used to be. What was once an industry full of wonder and imagination, striving for innovations and brilliance, has become a market dominated by hype machines and fulfilling status quos, with envelope pushing being an afterthought, but can still render some satisfying results. Of course, what comes with this territory is the projection to turn these games into profit through many lucrative means, so to speak. I'm well aware that games have always been, for the most part, products to make money from, but the affection of games and being purely entertainment products is all but lost. So what's the best way to squeeze your consumer dry these days? Well, for games you have special editions, collector's editions, limited editions, tits editions, fucking dildo editions, day one DLCs, pre-order bonuses, microtransactions, and now the latest scheme to join this wonderful bunch, season passes. Now I'm sure most of you know what season passes are by now, but for those of you who don't, it's a way to purchase all, or most of planned DLC for a game in advance, usually at an overall discount of 25% for around 30 to 40 bucks. Unless you're fucking Activision. Seems like a pretty sweet deal, doesn't it? But let's just take a step back for a second. Now I'm not entirely sure when this trend started. The first time I saw it in action was with Dungeon Defenders and the Eternia DLCs, but Saints Row the Third was the first time I saw it specifically being called a season pass. Magically, a lot of games succeeding it started doing the same after its proven success as a fundamental way to essentially double the profits of a game's initial asking price. DLC has become as massive as the base game's release and in many various forms, with multiple add-ons for both the single player and multiplayer experience. It's a lucrative way to manufacture more revenue for relatively quick to produce content. Even Tomb Raider from this year fucking had DLC to get abilities for the single player which you could have otherwise quite easily unlocked in game. What?! And there's the more recent controversy with Metro Last Light charging extra for the hardest difficulty mode if you didn't pre-order. On the topic of pre-ordering, I'm kind of neutral toward it. On one hand, you're given a substantial amount of promotional content and information for a game prior to its release to make an informed decision in addition to giving you some in-game bonuses, and on the other, this promotional content can be considered cherry-picked. Then you also have review embargoes put in place by the publisher to prevent any damage to pre-orders if the game receives unfavorable scores. Like I said, they need that hype machine to keep on running until the game is out in the open. Then they need to attempt to charge it back up again for upcoming DLCs. But wait! This is where season passes come in. You have the hype machine in full force for your product, so why not use it to get more out of the consumer? When it comes to games, it feels inadequate in a way to just get the base experience. Generally feeling more fulfilled to get extra content, which varies depending on the extent of said content. This principle especially applies for games which have been out for some time and have had all their DLC released, allowing you to purchase all of it in one nice big delicious bundle. This is pretty much a no-brainer if you're interested in the game and it's on sale. This is where the problems with season passes begins to arise. You see, while you may have convinced yourself that the base game is worth purchasing, hopefully after doing the necessary research, which is all well and good, any potential DLC for the game which is covered by the season pass is shrouded in mystery. You literally know nothing about it, at least for a few months after the game is released. Furthermore, you don't know whether you'll still be interested in the game in the future as the later DLCs roll out, and most importantly, you don't know whether the DLC you purchase in advance will be worth the money, even at the discounted price. So if you buy a season pass along with a pre-order for the base game or before any information on the first DLC is made public, that is putting a lot of faith in the developer. Perhaps a little too much? As far as I know, the refund policy for season passes is that a majority of the time, there isn't one. Once you've bought it, that's it. It didn't take me long to find those unfortunate souls who regretted their purchases and sought out the relevant forum to ask for a refund, to no avail of course. Blunders happen unfortunately, and some games won't turn out to be what you think they will. For multiplayer games especially, buying a season pass early is reliant on the fact that the online component will be active enough to get any quantifiable worth out of the DLC. If it isn't, you essentially have less than a paperweight. Now you'll often be enticed to buy season passes by being offered some nice little bonuses, similar to what you receive from pre-ordering. Bioshock Infinite for example, gave you some additional damage bonuses and player upgrades to make you more overpowered than you already were. Wonderful! The solution is quite simple, but not something people like to hear. Just wait? Wait until you know something substantial about the upcoming DLC for a game. Wait to see if an online population for the multiplayer component of a game stays active enough. Wait to make sure you actually enjoy the base game which a DLC will be created for. Just wait.
But I want to know.
Now granted, there are developers out there who have exceptional track records and can be deemed worth trusting enough to take the plunge with the season pass. There are others though that I wouldn't trust with my insert funny joke here. So season passes aren't inherently the worst idea publishers have come up with for quick additional profits. It's really up to the consumer to make sure they won't be screwed in the future by purchasing one early. It's important to remember that there's no limited times on season passes and they will always be available for games you've purchased which have them. Better yet, potentially going on sale in the future. So just remember what you do and don't buy has the greatest impact on how publishers go about their business for the next batch of releases. Don't continually instantly latch on to any new lucrative schemes they bring out next. They don't seem to care as much once they've got your money.